Hi guys, so we are continuing with answering the questions that I got under one of my videos, and thank you again for writing all of these questions to me and just giving me feedback because it gives me so much and I'm really grateful. So today I want to talk about living with parents or relatives or people who don't understand or believe in mental illness. And this question was provided by a lovely girl named Julia Cora, and she told me a story of how her parents were unsupportive about her mental health and how they just didn't believe that it's a thing. And it really just hurt me to hear that, because I understand how just painful and unfair that should have felt. And I really think that I'm so lucky to have a family who supports me and who does believe in mental health and who studied everything that they could find and just listened to me when I was telling them about it. So I really feel sorry for everyone who has been struggling with such issues, and I'm not sure that I can give you like a full answer to this question since I have no experience, but I will maybe share my thoughts about it, if that's okay. So what I have found to be true with a lot of people is that sometimes people don't want to believe in something that they are scared of. So if your parents or your friends or a person who doesn't understand or believe in mental health being an issue, maybe they just never encountered it and they only heard like horror stories about crazy people who do crazy stuff and murderers and maniacs and all this kind of crap. And so they think that if a person has a mental illness, then it's just, you know, a death sentence basically for them and everyone around them. And so they just prefer not to believe in it even existing or it even being a thing. So I think that might be just denial, because they might just not want to believe in it because they are just too scared to face the struggles and to really feel the consequences of it. Another thing that I think might be true is a lot of times parents kind of feel guilty for making their child have a mental illness, although it is not an issue all the time. Some mental health issues are inherited, some are a result of a trauma that parents had nothing to do with, and just in general, I mean, even if they kind of contributed to developing of a mental illness, I think that if you admit that you did something wrong and then you work together on fixing it, it might help. But I mean, it's just me. Some other people might think differently. So maybe, guilt or shame is preventing them from facing the reality. Another thing is that a lot of people, especially older people, have this beliefs about psychologists and psychiatrists not being really honest people. And I have heard multiple times from even people my age that, oh, they're just going to put you on meds and you will become a vegetable, and they just want your money and they are not really interested in your recovery, which I didn't find to be true. Every professional that I have worked with were extremely kind and nice, and they were just the loveliest people who truly cared about their patients. And although I do not always agree with a lot of prescription medications and stuff, but sometimes it is the only possible way to treat your mental illness. So, the medicine nowadays is so much better than it used to be when, for example, our parents were young, and now not all the meds are as scary as they used to be. And the last thing that I think might contribute to people not believing in mental illness is because it is just something that can't be seen. It is still the same kind of like handicap as being a diabetic or having heart issues, or just, you know, it's the same illness as any physical illness, but it just cannot be seen. So a lot of people find it easier to just say, you're just making this stuff up, and, you know, you're just in a bad mood, and don't make a big deal out of it, because it is something unfamiliar. It's something that is easy to forget about, because you don't see it. You don't see that the person is hurting. You don't see that the person is suffering, because it's just on the inside. So this might also contribute to people not believing in it. So my advice for the people who live around people who don't believe in mental illness, and if you're struggling with mental health issues, is, first of all, don't push it. I think that if you will try to convince them that it's a real thing, it might only make things worse. So if I were you, I would just ask them to read maybe some scientific papers about it, or maybe some books, maybe show them some videos of people who struggle with mental health, and maybe some doctors, because there are a lot of scientific talks about it on YouTube and on other websites. Another thing is that I know how much it must hurt. I don't really know how much it hurts because I never experienced it, but I can imagine. And I know that it's very easy to become angry and spiteful and, you know, just start hating on these people, but try to understand them. I know that if you are struggling, it's you who needs to be understood and not them, but I mean, just, you know, try to not hate them for not believing you, or, you know, not being there for you, because probably they're just scared and they need love and support as well. And maybe you're not the person who must be giving it to them, but try to be a bigger person. Another question that Julia asked was about telling your younger siblings about mental health and how to do that. Unfortunately, I do not have any siblings, so I also cannot be a very big help on this. But I think that it's very important to talk to younger people about mental health. Of course, it should be age appropriate, and you don't need to talk to a 5-year-old about drug addiction. But if they are old enough to understand, just try to tell them in an easy manner, not to scare them, because children can be quite impressionable, and just try to tell them that there are some things that happen to you. And even if a person is addicted to drugs, and even if, you know, they are angry or behaving strange, it's not always their fault. And I think that learning about it from a young age, especially having someone that you love struggle from it, might make kids more understanding towards people who suffer with mental health, and maybe it will make them kinder and more appreciative of the people who struggle with mental health. I think that it's very important, but of course it is your call to make, and especially if it is your kids, I think that, well, I cannot tell you what to do, because it's your responsibility and your, you know, your life. But I think that it's important to let younger people know about it, because if they see it in other people, then they maybe can recognize it, and, you know, maybe it will help someone one day. Maybe they will be able to, like, track some signs of it in themselves if they know what to look for. So I think that was it. I am sorry if I wasn't of much help. I tried to answer this question to the best of my ability. I wish you a very nice day, and thank you very much for watching. I love you guys so much. Be nice humans, and see you in the next video. Goodbye.